Kind Grubb is our next speaker. She's executive director of Rowan Helping Ministries here in Salisbury. She's a 1989 graduate of Catawba and a member of the Kettner School of Business Advisory Board. Kind of says that her senior year here, she was expecting her second child, who was actually born the week before finals. But she remembers that her professor, Mr. Trenchard, okay, gotcha, told her later on that he carried an emergency phone numbers in his pocket the entire semester because he was afraid she was going to have that baby right there in his classroom. Kina's going to talk about networking and mentoring in the workplace. Thank you, Kina.
And my professor, Dr. Hyatt, told me to always correct on my name, and it's Kina. I also let him call me Kina for 2 years, and at graduation he found out what my name was and fussed at me over it. So,
and I've met you 3 times, and I called, so you didn't correct me soon enough.
I didn't hear you call me before, so I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, that's perfectly all right. It looks like Kina, but it's Kina. My topic is networking and finding a mentor, and and I think Mona has already said it, is get a mentor. One of the things that women don't do a good job of is helping other women. And when I started in public accounting in '89, it was largely a man's world. There was one female partner in our firm that I was in, and she looked like a man. And she dressed like a man. And she was older, and I assume, because she didn't speak to any of the juniors, that she had to be a man to be there. But when I was coming along, there were men and there were women in the lower levels of management and the rookies. But early on, I was mentored more by the men in the organization than the women. And I remember, and the structure of public accounting has mentoring built into it, which made it great for learning from someone else who's learned from someone, and they bring you along sort of through a defined career path. But I had a partner who would sit down and go over things with me or suggest things about the way that I audited. I had a guy, he's now a senior partner in the firm, but at the time he was 6 months ahead of me, who would find technical things that I would need to read and put them on my desk. And he took those opportunities to mentor. And then I moved on to work for a apparel manufacturer, which was largely made up of women in the lower levels, out on the floor sewing the clothes. The designers were women. But the most I ever got from women in that firm was, you need to wear your skirt above your knee and those shoes don't look good, and put your lipstick on. But I did get mentoring from some of the men, and they instituted and while I was there, it had a real strong management, which was Milliken management. If you know Milliken management, they're very intense. But they brought in the Stephen Covey 7 Habits. And through that, there was a lot of training around how to be effective leaders, how to effectively work with people, to seek first to understand. And I saw a real culture change happening in that environment, but very little females helping females. Now that changed at Food Line, because by the time I got to Food Line, there were many women in leadership roles there. But the best thing that you could ever do is to find a mentor, male or female. It would be great to find a female willing to mentor you, and start to learn, listen, like Karen said. Spend a lot of time listening early on in your career. You may think you know all the answers, and I strongly encourage you to share your ideas, but listen. There's a lot to be learned from the people who have gone before you. I remember a lady who did mentor me. She had no college education, but she had gone through the School of Hard Knocks. And she was very effective at leading other women. And she passed away of cancer while we were working together, and so I lost her as a mentor. but to also be a mentor. One of the things I think women need to know is mentoring, networking at work is not gossiping. It is not talking bad about the boss. It is affirming others. It's helping others succeed, and it's celebrating people's successes. We call the folks who gossip pot stirrers, and as we would sit around and go, okay, well, they're a pot stirrer. We don't want them moving up, or we need to find them more to do because they don't have enough to do. So networking and pot stirring are not the same thing. But networking does help you get connected. And let me tell you about what I've been doing lately. I've recently come to a new position. I've been at Rowan Helping Ministries for 3 years as the executive director. And in that role, I went from corporate world to nonprofit world, which is a different world. I'm not selling anything. I'm now asking for support. And my last job at Food Line was actually their philanthropy. I gave away their money, and now I'm asking for money. But we've had several agencies in Rowan County who have gotten new executive directors, and the first thing that I do is I call them and say, welcome to the world of being an executive director. Would you want to have coffee? And we connect now. We started off as 2 or 3 of us, and this group of new executive directors has grown so much that we now don't fit around a table for 6. And we have called ourselves neighbor to neighbor, and it was all women. And then we decided we probably should let some men participate, so we've let a few guys in reluctantly. But it is about helping each other succeed. And what we've said is, you know, we're new at this nonprofit stuff, and yeah, we probably are competing for the same dollars, but we're here to serve the community together. And we work together, we answer questions, we network, and we try to bring solutions for our Rowan County community together through our partnerships. And the one thing that I think you need to always remember is that you grow when you help someone else grow. And in any career that you have, start mentoring and training and preparing your replacement. I've always done that through my career, and there's nothing better than to get a note. And I know teachers get these a lot, but a note saying thank you for what you did to help me. You made a difference in my life. And I think that's the legacy that I would like to leave, is that someone felt like that I made a difference or helped them find their path because I was there to be an ear. And that you, and Karen, you said something, I made a note about confident women, and confident women help other women. And there is no time for catcalling and backbiting, all that stuff that goes on. And I remember being in a meeting with my boss. He was a guy, and I was having a conflict with a woman in the office, and I was her boss, but all of a sudden we just seemed to be in conflict. And he said, well, do I need to put you in a bowl of Jell-O and give you a bat? I mean, it was just some awful. Well, what it turned out was she had started embezzling from the company, and as the controller, she was now uncomfortable being around me. But we didn't get there right away because we had to get through are they being bitter because they're women? Mm-hmm. And so that is the one thing. The 2 things is help other women succeed, affirm them, and also find someone that you respect and ask them for a formal mentoring relationship. But anyway, I couldn't say enough about how important it is to support each other in your career journeys.
Thank you.